Okay. Is it talked, talk, talked, talked? The English simple past tense or simple past is rather easy typically to learn. We usually learn it the second tense after simple present. And usually we form it by just adding an ed, unless it's one of those many irregular forms, which we will work on later. Today, I want to talk about the pronunciation of that ed or t variant at the end of regular verbs in the past tense. There are 3 different ways, so let's get to the rules. Ed at the end of a past tense verb is going to have 3 different ways that it can present, or 3 different ways that we can say it. We can say ed, we can say t, or we can say d. So let's begin by walking our way through the 3 different sounds. The first sound, as I mentioned, was ed. Some people say id. It depends on where you come from. So the vowel could be a e or I, depending. But typically, if the ending of the verb is a T or a D sound, you're going to use an ED. So, for example, it would be in the word want, wanted. In the verb need, needed. And the reason why is because I can't say wanted or wanted. I need an extra syllable. I need that extra vowel plus a D sound. So wanted, needed. I'll provide a longer list in the comment section. Second sound, we'll go to the T sound. That is important to know that T is voiceless because a voiceless sound is going to follow other voiceless sounds. So if the verb ends in a voiceless consonant, we're going to use that T sound. So for example, help. Help ends in p, which is voiceless bilabial. So we will then, instead of saying helped, we'll say helped. It naturally follows. If your voice is off, it continues to be off. So the rule is, if the verb ends in an unvoiced consonant, then what will follow is an unvoiced consonant. If the voice is off, we're keeping it off. It's just easier to do that. So, for example, in the word helped, in the word looked, look, in the word washed, washed, watched, watched, laughed, laughed, kissed, in the word danced, or fixed, fixed. These are really difficult consonant clusters for languages that don't typically have consonant clusters. And I'm looking at many of you different languages out there. So if it feels really clunky or difficult to make your tongue make those sounds, just know that is normal, and it could just take extra practice, extra time, or ask a teacher to help to explain what the tongue is actually doing inside of the mouth. The third sound is the voiced sound, which would be d. As you can feel it on your throat, on your larynx, so you can feel the difference between voiced and voiceless. And if you predicted that the D sound comes after voiced sounds, well, boy, aren't you smart? Because if the voice is on, it's going to stay on. So let me give you a couple of examples. And the word called, old. The voice is on with ol, so then I say d. Called, cleaned, nd, with the nasal N that's voiced, followed by a d. Offered, offered, damaged, damaged, loved, loved, used, used, followed, followed, enjoyed, enjoyed, amazed, amazed. So it's important to remember when you're learning these different sound rules that the voice is going to typically do what's easiest for the voice. So if there is an opportunity for a consonant to be voiced after something that is already voiced, it's going to stay voiced. If it's already off, it's going to stay off. However, in English, we love consonant clusters, so we're not going to make that part actually easy for you. Instead, we're going to throw in as many consonants as possible. If you're interested in extra practice, you can actually go online and look for, there are tons of different exercises to do. But I think first of all is creating the awareness between ed and duh, and making sure that you know how to do voiced and voiceless. After that, I would suggest watching something in English and listening to it and seeing subtitles, or doing a listening practice that's specifically made for tuning your ear to the English past tense. The reason why is that oftentimes what we hear does not 100% match what we see. So we want to make sure that we're building that awareness and strengthening that ability as soon into the English learning process as possible. And then, of course, there are tongue twisters. There are lots of different exercises, which I can link to in the description or do another video on in more in depth later. All right, so that's all for today from our little mini lesson on the English past tense. Just remember, key takeaways, 3 different sounds, ed or id, and duh, and it's going to match the ending of the verb that comes before it. Everybody take care. Leave in the comments if you have any questions or any suggestions for topics that you would like for me to follow. Thanks for watching English on Fire. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.